Our top focus at 6. Diwali is still a month away, but fireworks over firecrackers have already started in Delhi. Now, BJP's MP Manoj Tiwari has petitioned the Supreme Court. He's an MP from Delhi. He's petitioned the Supreme Court to revoke the complete ban on firecrackers. In his petition to the court, he's saying that a complete ban is anti-Hindu and impacts the livelihood of traders. He has also argued that Arvind Kejriwal's move of a complete ban on firecrackers in Delhi is an Aurangzeb-type move against Hindus. Manoj Tiwari wants at least green crackers to be allowed on Diwali day. Delhi, just by the way, as you know, is the most polluted city in the world. AQI levels shoot up every year here post-Diwali, sending many young people, many young children actually, and the elderly all the way to the hospital. Let me go straight across to our guests, and I'm asking this question to all of them and to our viewers as well, because our phone lines are open. This is a matter that impacts you directly. Why politicized pollution? Is Mr. Tiwari's demand/petition reasonable, or is it simply a political stunt? Let me go straight across to Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's the lawyer in this matter. We have Tushar Gupta, who's a senior editor of Swarajya. He's joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai is chairperson, the Nephron clinic. He is with us as well, just to tell us how bad pollution is Delhi is. For people who don't live in Delhi, Dr. Bagai, I think there is little understanding of just how bad things get. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And Jai Dhar Gupta is a member, Right to Breathe. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Who should I start with? Dr. Bagai, I think I should start with you, because this impacts, before anything else, before the politics, before the courts, before anything else, this impacts your lungs and my lungs and the lungs of everyone we know who lives in Delhi. Please help me understand what you make of this petition that has now been submitted in the Supreme Court by Manoj Tiwari. He's a BJP MP, and he's a BJP MP from Delhi, so he knows exactly how bad things are in the national capital. Is his demand reasonable when he says that, look, a blanket ban will not work? Why don't you allow at least green crackers?
Good evening, Shreya. Good evening, everyone on panel and all the viewers. The first point I would like to make is I think health is paramount, and I think our religion should be India. Our faith should be India. Our nationality is Indians. There is no politics in healthcare. Air pollution per se, and in Delhi being one amongst the most polluted cities in the world, I dare say, the politics of it and the religion of it should be kept well away from healthcare. So let me just raise certain very important concerns with regards air pollutions and directly related to crackers. The air pollution directly related to crackers contains ingredients which are extremely harmful to human health and indeed human life, including respiratory symptoms, bronchitis, COPD, asthmas, neurological, which includes strokes, cardiac effects, which includes arrhythmias, heart attacks, skin ailments, eye ailments, mental growth, involving the pregnant ladies, damaging the fetus, congenital errors, and it is carcinogenic. What does it actually contain? It contains a huge amount of carcinogens, which include hydrofluorocarbons, it includes gases, volatile compounds, and of course fumes which are of nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, and indeed the particulate matter, which is PM 2.5, PM5, PM10. We know that every 10% increase of the PM particles which increase in the suspended air cause almost 2 times increased fold of cardiopulmonary disorders and indeed death. 60% of all non-communicable diseases are linked to these kind of environmental pollutions. There should be no politics. There should be no religious bias in this. We need clean air. We need to protect our city. We need to protect our next generation. There is also a huge risk of burns, physical injuries, and so on, especially the smaller children.
Okay, let me get in the other panelists as well. Dr. Bagai, I think you very clearly articulated just how bad Delhi's pollution is and what happens every day after Diwali day. And just for viewers who are joining us, and we have, Jai Dhar Gupta here as well. So look at, I'm just looking at a year-to-year comparison. Where does the AQI level go? 319, 281, 337, 417, and in last year it was 464. This is Diwali. post Diwali, the day after Diwali, which means essentially that this is air which is not fit to breathe. This is air that can kill you, and indeed it does kill you. Tushar Gupta, where do you stand on the story? Where do you stand on the matter?
Good evening, Shreya. I disagree with Manoj Tiwari. I think he's being a little conservative when he says at least the green crackers should be allowed. I think all the crackers should be allowed, and I have a reason for that. You are looking at the AQI, and I'm a resident of Noida. You're looking at the AQI, but today is 23rd September. Another couple of days, and stubble burning will start in Punjab. By the next month, Diwali is on 24th, exactly a month from now, you will have an entire month of fields being burned in Punjab. And due to the wind direction, that smoke will be carried forward to Delhi. That is what has been happening for the last few years. The smog you see on Diwali festival is not from the crackers. Crackers cannot generate a smog that is so persistent, so dense. That is coming from the stubble burning, which happens in Punjab. And the irony, Shreya, of all this, who was the one leader that was supporting the farmers when it came to the right of burning stubble? It was Arvind Kejriwal. So I agree with Manoj Tiwari when he says that Kejriwal cannot take two lines. On one hand, you're supporting the farmers who want to burn stubble. On the other hand, you want to go ahead and ban crackers. I'm not saying crackers are healthy for humans. I won't dispute the expertise put forward by the doctor here. I completely agree that crackers can cause harm to people, and the ones who have asthma problems should refrain from bursting them. But again, it's a festival. We do not police other festivals. I can go ahead and make the same argument for Christmas or for Bakrid, but I won't. Festivals are meant to be celebrated in a certain way. It's a cultural thing. But for Arvind Kejriwal, how can he say that farmers can go on to burn stubble, but then also say that the crackers are causing pollution in Delhi, so I'll have a blanket ban for them 2 months ahead of Diwali? That is something that doesn't add up. And again, I reiterate, the smog is from the stubble burning. If you look at the data from the NASA firm satellite, for the last 5-6 years, you track this stubble burning from September end to October end to the day of Diwali. In the week prior to Diwali is where the stubble burning peaks, because it's going to be the harvest season and it's related to the festival. That is what's causing all the trouble in Delhi. It's not the firecrackers. We have been sold this narrative time and again that it's the firecrackers. But how can crackers be responsible for a month-long stubble burning process in Punjab? That I don't understand.
It's a fair point you make. You're saying essentially, एक दिन से क्या होता है if you burn firecrackers for a month, you have stubble burning that goes on, which makes Delhi's air toxic, and that's where most of the pollution is coming from. We have Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's the lawyer of Mr. Manoj Tiwari, who is joining us. Namaskar, Shashank ji. आपके पास आने से पहले, first I want to go to Jai Dhar Gupta, and I want to ask him whether he wants to counter Tushar Gupta on this one. Tushar Gupta, Mr. Jai Dhar Gupta is saying is simply this: एक दिन से क्या होता है? If you burn crackers for one day, what harm can it possibly do, given the fact that much of the pollution in Delhi is because of stubble burning, and it starts a month ahead of Diwali? So why give firecrackers a bad name?
So look, there's no end to this debate, and I'm a parent as well. I have boys who love their fireworks and have loved it for a long, long time. My lungs are very, very Hindu, and they have bronchial asthma. And I know the pain and suffering that I go through year after year. And I don't wish that upon any child or adult. I think you just need to look at the obituary section in a newspaper, during this window of paddy burning and Diwali, to see the number of, senior citizens who die of a cardiac arrest. And, Doc Saab is here. I don't need to tell you this. He will tell you the rest of the story, how hard it is on children and senior citizens, and how many of them, and what it does to nebulizer sales. That itself tells a story. I tell you personally, the safe PM 2.5 level is under 5 micrograms per cubic meter. I have measured levels of 2200. 2,200. These levels are unprecedented. I'm talking about the night of Diwali in civil lines. And I'm not talking about measuring the levels right next to a Fuljari or, an anar or something. I'm just talking about taking an instrument and measuring ambient air at the levels. That kind of data, if you speak to scientists, particulate expert or clean air, experts anywhere in the world, that kind of exposure to humans is absolutely unprecedented. And the fact that we are doing this in our city year after year is absolute insanity. Once again, this is a case of religion and politics trumping health and life. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And, let me also tell you, if there's any rain that comes in the days following Diwali, the kind of acid rain that the city sees, it impacts everything, not just humans, but every kind of life, where this acid rain falls. It makes everything toxic. Our rivers, our plants, our soil, everything becomes toxic. So please, I can go on and on, but I think I've made my point.
Okay, I think you've made your point, yes.
Shreya,
हाँ बोलिए तुषार, go ahead, then I'll get Mr. Jain.
पिछले 2 साल से तो दिल्ली में पटाखे बैन थे, 2-3 साल से पटाखे बैन हो रहे, फिर भी हर साल दिवाली पर AQI ऊपर जाता है। आप सोचिए एक बार,
जाता है। 2020 में गया 414, 2021 में गया 464, तो बढ़ा, absolutely बढ़ा. You're right.
Correct.
You're right. Which means that the government can do whatever it wants. You know, Tushar, what that means? It means that the government can do what it wants. The Supreme Court can do what it wants. लोग ultimately करेंगे जो उनको करना है, which means there may be a blanket ban on patakas, but people will still go and do exactly what they want to do. That's what it means, na?
Shreya, it wasn't the crackers. That's what I'm pointing out. It wasn't the crackers. The ban was actually followed in Delhi because the fine was.
I am looking at AQI levels of Delhi post Diwali only. I'm looking at the figures, AQI figures.
Because the stubble burning peaks in the week prior to Diwali. It starts in September, it gradually increases and it peaks in the week prior to Diwali because the festival and the harvesting is interlinked in Punjab. That is what I'm trying to tell you, that even when you have a cracker ban, that is the proof of, the pudding, that there was a cracker ban in Delhi the last 2 years. It's the stubble burning that was causing the problem.
So you're making an argument that has been made every year, because every year we see this debate. The smog season is upon us and we are sure that this debate will start once again. That, pollution in Delhi is not just the product of one thing. It's the product of multiple things. And why just blame firecrackers and make them the villain?
Absolutely.
When you have stubble burning that goes on in Punjab and surrounding states, which just makes Delhi's air unbreathable. I get it. That's a point you've made, and that's a point you've made well. Let me go across to Shashank Shekhar Jha before I go to Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. Shashank Shekhar Jha, एक बात बताइए कि हमारे मनोज तिवारी जी तो दिल्ली के ही MP हैं, तो यानी कि वो दिल्ली में ही रहते हैं और आप भी दिल्ली में ही रहते हैं, तो फेफड़े तो हम सबके ही खराब हो रहे हैं सिगरेट नहीं पीने के बावजूद. तो शशांक जी सुन लीजिए, सवाल सुन लीजिए. अगर हम 20 मोस्ट पोल्यूटेड सिटीज का आंकड़ा निकालें कि कौन सी 20 ऐसे शहर हैं दुनिया में जो सबसे पोल्यूटेड हैं, तो दिल्ली नंबर 1 है. नंबर 2 कोलकाता है, लेकिन दिल्ली नंबर 1 है. अगर आप दुनिया के सबसे पोल्यूटेड शहर से MP हैं, तो क्या औचित्य बनता है और क्या तर्क बनता है कि आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएं और बोले कि भाई थोड़े बहुत पटाखे हमको जलाने दीजिए?
Namaste, Shreya ji, and every other panelist on this show. Shreya ji, 3 points. पहला, जैसा आपने कहा कि सिगरेट जलने से फेफड़े जलते हैं या बाकी चीजों से, I will give you a very simple example of last year because I have made this petition on behalf of Manoj Tiwari ji, so I can submit with great responsibility. Last year, crackers were banned in Delhi. However, you may say that there were few who were burning crackers in Delhi despite of the ban, but there were no ban in Bengaluru. But
एक मिनट जरा रुकिए, एक सेकंड. I'll let you complete your point. He's not Manish Tiwari's advocate, he's Manoj Tiwari's advocate. Yeah, go ahead, sir. मैंने बस एक थोड़ा सा correction करना था, वो कर दिया मैंने. हाँ, बोलिए. हाँ.
So last year the crackers were banned in Delhi, but not in Bengaluru. But the day after Deepavali, if you see the AQI level, you will understand that the firecrackers are not at all reason for the pollution in Delhi. That is point number 1. Point number 2, there are multiple observations by different authorities, including certain IITs, which has got to us to know that firecrackers are not in top 10 also for spreading pollution. And that is why when we moved this petition before Supreme Court this year, we presented as Annexure A. If you go through the petition, Annexure A is the order of Supreme Court itself from last year, where Supreme Court in its para number 8 has categorically said that we are not inclined to ban put a complete ban on firecrackers.
Correct.
So when Manoj Tiwari ji approaches Supreme Court, he just trying to repeat what Supreme Court has already said. Supreme Court in its order has clearly said that there should be a fine balance between, while passing an order. आप अगर लाइट करना चाहते हैं तो आप पूरे में आग नहीं लगा देंगे. लाइकवाइज अगर ऐसा डिक्टेट आप दे रहे हैं कि देयर शुड बी कंप्लीट बैन, तो फिर ये तो वैसी वाली बात होगी जैसे बिहार में नीतीश कुमार कहते हैं कि शराब बैन है, लेकिन घर घर में शराब मिलती है. इफ यू आर बैनिंग इट लाइक दिस, तो होगा क्या कि इलीगल फायर क्रैकर्स, वो फायर क्रैकर जिसमें बेरियम या अदर अनऑथराइज्ड प्रोडक्ट्स है जिसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बैन किया हुआ है, वो सारे बिकने शुरू होंगे.
तो शशांक जी समझ गए आपका पॉइंट जो है, बिल्कुल वेल टेकन पॉइंट है. तो मुझे ये समझाइए कि ठीक है, चलिए ये आपने तर्क दिया, लेकिन आपकी जो पिटिशन में उसमें तो बड़ी पॉलिटिकल बातें लिखी गई हैं. आपने अरविंद केजरीवाल को औरंगजेब बोल दिया, आपने बोला फायर क्रैकर बैन इज लाइक व्हाट समथिंग दैट औरंगजेब वुड हैव डन, ये एंटी हिंदू है. ये सब बीच में कमेंट्री पिटिशन में क्यों चली गई भाई? फेफड़े तो हिंदू के भी खराब होंगे, मुसलमान के भी खराब होंगे, आपके भी खराब होंगे, और सिख के भी खराब होंगे, एंड क्रिश्चियन के भी खराब होंगे. तो ये हिंदू मुस्लिम वाली बात कहाँ से आ गई बीच में?
There are at least two reasons, Shreya ji, for putting those things. Because we need to have historical reference when we are talking about religion. Point number one, when I have mentioned this, so आप देखिए duration of the cracker ban in Delhi, that is from October to January.
Correct.
क्यों उसके बाद फायर क्रैकर से नुकसान नहीं होगा? While Aam Aadmi Party leaders celebrate their victory in different states or mohalla or whatsoever, when they burn crackers, is there no problem with firecrackers? The problem is when you are targeting a particular region during their festive season. That is why we have to bring it. And second
अक्टूबर
point,
से जनवरी के बीच में तो ईद भी हो गई ना?
नहीं मैं वही कह रहा हूँ.
हो गई ना?
Point, वही मैं उसी पे आ रहा था. The second point is when we have mentioned about Aurangzeb. See, Faridabad mein, that is not a part of Delhi, and that is why we have made all the states in union territory as party.
True.
Last year, Faridabad, which is part of Haryana, उन्होंने 144 इम्पोज कर दिया. आप सोचिए दिवाली की रात 144 लगा हुआ है किसी जगह पे. ऐसा तो औरंगजेब वो करता था, या फिर बैसाखी की रात में ब्रिटिशर्स ने किया था जब जलियांवाला बाग कांड हुआ था. So those historical references are very much required because law जो इंडिया का चलता है, that is for jurisprudence, and jurisprudence comes out of custom. Jurisprudence का बहुत clear है, customary law को follow करते हैं. Customary law always said कि इंडिया जहाँ पे majority population Hindus हैं, they have been celebrating their festivals by firecrackers, and that is a Supreme Court never imposed.
Have you called the Chief Minister? It's interesting to see that you've called the Chief Minister of Haryana Aurangzeb.
No, I'm calling the DM who issued that dictate.
Okay. I thought you'd call the Chief Minister of Haryana, who's the BJP leader, Aurangzeb. That was a little surprising. One
last thing I wish to mention.
Go ahead.
And that is also very important. Ki all the prayers which we have put in before the Supreme Court, one prayer also says that all state governments as well as Union of India must be given a direction कि pollution को कम किया जाए. The pollution should be reduced by other means. Now, when you are announcing that we will be installing smog towers across Delhi, but you are not able to install that, or when you are not able to stop farmers from burning their stubbles, like Tushar Gupta ji was saying, I guess these are failures of state government, and there this judiciary needs to come there, because we cannot afford the precious time of Supreme Court every year for this particular cause.
Okay, I think you have made a compelling argument as well, and so has Mr. Tushar Gupta. And before I go to the other Mr. Gupta on this panel, Jai Dhar Gupta and Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, can I quickly just take a caller? I believe we have a caller from Bangalore. Mr. Shashidhar, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Good evening.
Yeah. I have a question to Mr. Jai Dhar and Dr. Sanjeev. Right. They are too much concerned about the citizens and pollution and the bad effects of it. I'm really grateful for them, but I would like to know what car do they drive?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we understand the point you're making, and Ms. Jai Dhar wants to respond to that. Go ahead, Jai Dhar.
Yeah.
I have been driving an electric car since 1998. The first electric car in India was driven by me, and since today I only drive an electric car. Thank you very much for asking, whoever you are.
Shashidhar, but I understand the larger point you're making, Shashidhar, and it's an important point you're making. Let me get Dr. Sanjeev. Thank you for calling us. Dr. Bagai, would you want to come in here? You've heard both sides of the argument, and both sides make compelling points. You know, when I hear Tushar Gupta or when I hear Shashank Jha, any viewer who's watching will feel, oh, they have a point. And then you hear Jai Dhar Gupta, or when I heard you in the beginning, I said, yeah, that's an issue as well. Where do you stand? I mean, we understand that pollution in Delhi is not just because of firecrackers, but the fact is that firecrackers do make it worse. Is there any point knocking the doors of the Supreme Court to say, hey, why don't you allow some crackers? You know, because some crackers are never some crackers, and I don't even know what green crackers mean. So does it have to be necessarily a complete ban? Because beach ka kuch chalta nahi hai India mein.
Yeah, so just let me make some important points. The first point is, I'm a Hindu, I'm a very staunch Hindu, and I'm a very proud Hindu, proud Indian. But the fact of the matter is that this is not an all or none phenomena. We cannot have multiple wrongs trying to prove one right and multiple rights trying to prove one wrong. We know that air pollution is multifactorial. There are a variety of causes. Yes, air pollution is a major cause, is vehicular pollution, industrial pollution, road dust, the crop burning. We have to attack all of them, but to allow one under the pretext that others are not being controlled completely will not make logical sense. My only request is follow a path which is celebrating the religion, celebrating the festivity in a large open area close to Delhi, much like New York has, Sydney has. Have an open show of a limited firecracker where the impact is diluted because it's not in the concretized part of the cities. The people are not in close congregation. The smoke is not suspended in between the buildings and the cars. Have a small show as a show of faith, show of strength. Celebrate the festival, but keep people healthy. It's not the one night before. It remains suspended in terms of gas and particulate matter for weeks after that. Yes, there are precipitating factors which include bad cars, it includes diesel cars, it includes the crop burning. All should be attacked with the same vigor. It doesn't make me less of a Hindu if I don't burn crackers. Personally speaking, I will not burn crackers because it's harmful to health.
Caller, you know, I have to wrap this very interesting and enlightening chat, but I do have a caller I want to take. Mangesh, I believe, is calling us from Bangalore. Mangesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, so this actually related to the pollution debate should not be only limited to the Delhi. If firecrackers can be banned for only 3-4 days during the Diwali, will it really help? It will not help. But there are a lot of vehicles, and I have another perspective in bigger cities like Bangalore, Noida, or where are many business parks are there, big buildings having centralized cooling system, and that is exhaling bad air outside, and you can see the mix of residential and commercial complexes having a lot of pollutions. Different areas having different temperatures in Bangalore or many cities in India. So we need to stop influx of people coming to the big city. We need to develop many cities in India and also take care of pollution. Nothing is happening. And also the potholes, flooding, is it not the different way of pollution in India?
Okay.
This was my point of view.
Thank you very much. You are a citizen and your point of view is as important as that of our panelists. Gentlemen, we leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us on a debate that is only just starting, because Diwali season is only just starting. We are still a month away, and I'm fairly certain that we are going to see some fireworks over firecrackers in the national capital. Thank you very much, Shashank Jha, for joining us, Tushar Gupta, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, and Jai Dhar Gupta. Thank you very much indeed.